okay, this is what's in the market today, $900 trillion. Bitcoin has a good chance of taking, 5 to 10% of this market.
What we got, man?
We got lots in Bitcoin to cover today. I think last week we talked a little bit about maybe covering some of the models and frameworks that people are using to create their Bitcoin predictions. And I thought it might be kind of fun to also just go over some of the more fun looking predictions from some of the famous folks that are currently in the Bitcoin space. You want to get into it? The next one is a little bit more practical. So this is the thought about demonetizing global assets. Okay. So in this one, this concept is being explained by Jesse Myers here, and we'll again link this up so you guys can do a deep dive in it. There's a lot of good information in this one, but the article really discusses Bitcoin's potential value for appreciation, driven by its increasing scarcity and design as a store of value asset. So it's competing against other traditional assets like gold, bonds, and real estate that are also typically thought of as store of value assets. So whenever you have money that you're investing it because you don't want it to lose its value to inflation, you're buying things like gold, real estate. Also, a lot of people buy real estate. It's like when people buy New York real estate out there, they're buying that real estate, but they're not living in those houses, right? They're just parking money out there so it doesn't lose value. And we're talking about like the big billionaire row houses out there, right? Where there's a lot of vacancies over there, but people do it because they're buying it. Same thing with like artwork and things like that. They're buying expensive artwork so they can park their money there, hold the value over time. They're saying Bitcoin is basically a superior version of this.
That's what Michael Saylor continues to preach, right? Like that basically it's better than any of those, right? Because it is not liquid. If let's say that you get a Picasso or a Monet piece of art, and it's like, okay, you have to do maybe in Christie's. Christie's is like the company that usually auctions this type of art. Then you're gonna have to wait, obviously less the commissions and all of that. So it takes time to unload your Picasso, right?
Yeah.
or your Monet or whatever it is. Talking about that, which one would you choose, Eric?
You know what? I do like a lot of them, but I do like to support some of the more Latino artists. So I think I would be partial
so then you
to
like
those.
Botero. Unfortunately,
Botero,
Frida is not there anymore either. Maybe a real Frida Kahlo.
Yeah, that's right. And by the way, when we were in Mexico City, we went to visit Frida Kahlo's place, right? There was a long line, so we didn't get to go inside.
There was a
I got
very
my
long
selfie
line.
there.
So yeah, I think that for putting cash and parking it, there are different things, and yeah, Bitcoin is way superior to any of those.
Right. So when you're looking at these global assets right now, the total is like $900 trillion. This is the market size, total addressable market that really Bitcoin has, right, to demonetize. And when we say demonetize, we're saying people will opt to buy Bitcoin or invest in Bitcoin over art or over real estate because there's benefits, right? Like with real estate, there's overhead. You got to do the maintenance, the upkeep, all those things that we're talking about with Gary Cardone, right? There's things like that. So Bitcoin is a superior asset. So there's this flight to safety or flight to value where people will opt to buy Bitcoin instead of those other areas. So if you try to calculate it, and that's what this framework or model is showing, even if you see a shift from artwork, from real estate, from stocks and bonds and things like that at like a 5% shift over into Bitcoin, you're talking about a $900 trillion market. You're going to get, 90 trillion if you're talking about like 10%. So what does that equate? $90 trillion for a Bitcoin price. And that's how they're coming up with this $10 million Bitcoin prediction. It's because it's even at very small percentages, that price of Bitcoin would go up if you're for those people that are saying, you know what, it's just easier to buy Bitcoin and hold it versus having to buy and sell this artwork or having to take care of these collectibles or buying the real estate and things like that.
Yeah, I think that also we have been mentioning about the ETFs and Wall Street coming in, right? So and they're now here. And now you have big players, right? You have Fidelity, we have BlackRock, we have covered through these weeks and months, all of these events. Something that we have not mentioned here is that each of these hedge funds managers, they get paid if they are moving your money around. They don't get paid if you have just cash, right? Like because guess what? For right now, the interest rates, you can find a high yield account for 5%. So, which remember, in real estate, usually average is about 5-6%. Yeah, you can get way better returns and all of that, but traditionally for the last 25 years or so has been kind of that. So then, why would you just keep your money in real estate when you can literally just put it on your bank, in your favorite bank, whatever it is that is giving you high yield, then your interest rate, right? So what happens with hedge funds is that if they don't move the money around and they invest in different assets, they're not going to get paid because they will have to return the money to their customers, and their customers are just going to put it in their savings account with high yield interest
Mm-hmm.
rates. So what these hedge fund managers need to do is to allocate it in different places. And in some instances, like when they want to not be in the market, they have to find instruments or assets, which is like it used to be gold, it used to be metals, right? Commodity. Basically, they call them commodities.
Mm-hmm.
And now crypto is becoming kind of another area where, okay, maybe Bitcoin start getting interesting is in and not tied to any of the other assets. Then, as you said, if it becomes a percentage, 2, 3%, 5% of that market is huge.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why this one to me, it makes a lot of sense, right? It's not just like math and looking at charts going up, right? It's actually like thinking through logically, okay, this is what's in the market today, $900 trillion. Bitcoin has a good chance of taking, 5 to 10% of this market. You just do the math and then it comes up to 10 million. So I think that one makes a lot of sense. And I encourage you guys to click on that link specifically because it does break it down and it shows you a chart and table of kind of what all these different assets are today, and how much Bitcoin has like likelihood to take in the near future. All right. So I know we're done with the sexy models. Well, that's all we've got for today. We'll see y'all next time. Dale.
Dale.